confident. I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm gonna be with you. And then at the end, she was like, all right, so it's gonna be $400. And I was like,
400.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh okay, let me get back to you on that. And so I completely just DIY'd everything.
Yeah, exactly. Bleaching hair just it costs so much money to
$400?
bleach.
I was like, girl, are you
It's not like
serious?
you have that much hair either. What the fuck?
Exactly.
Like,
So I was really looking at her like,
Right. Yeah.
The most I've
Eesh.
spent on my hair is like $200.
I just, and that's
The
like,
most I spent was 115.
oh my god.
yeah. All this costed like when I DIY'd it, it was like less than 100 for sure. Like
Yeah.
probably under 75.
And it looks good.
It does look good. I was gonna ask, are you a natural blonde?
I'm enjoying the blonde life.
Looks good.
Yes.
Looks good.
Blonde
Let me
bitch.
do that. I love that. Love that for you.
Sure.
I'm too scared to do it. Period.
I feel you. It's a step because I did it and my sisters were like, I don't know, your hair is gonna be like unhealthy.
fall out.
I was like, I'm fine.
Right.
Conditioner, but take care of it.
All
Just
out.
condition all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if you don't take care of it,
yeah.
constantly bleaching, then
True.
it's gonna be
And
long.
we gotta watch for how long. Yeah, you keep it in your hair, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Process.
I want to know if I would go that like
You don't have to. I mean, I wanted to. I was gonna do
like darker
blue.
color.
I wasn't even gonna do blonde. I was gonna do like a
You're
light
gonna do
blue.
blue? Oh, I can see that.
Mm.
That would
I
look
You
was
good.
can still do it. I mean, you got time.
Now, but
Mhm.
I'm waiting. I'm being patient.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Like a commit. I had to commit to that look and that step. To do it.
If you
True.
guys were gonna go a different color, what color would you go?
I would probably do like a dark red
Ooh, okay. I can see that.
or like I only say blonde because that's technically what it is, but like a darker like honey type of blonde. That makes sense.
That's cool.
It's a good color.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a good color.
I don't know.
I would do purple.
I knew you were, I don't know why I knew you were gonna say purple.
Purple.
Yep, a purple or
Thank you. I love that. I'm like, purple is the color of spirituality anyway. So, like, I don't know. Take what you will from that.
Love it.
What would you do your hair, Michael? What color would it be?
I don't think I would, but I guess if I had to pick
Silver.
silver, just be gray as shit. Yeah, honestly, that's a look. Like that kind of platinum blonde where it's like
that
almost
is the
white.
look. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, baby.
I feel like it'd look good on you because you're so white.
Pasty.
Yeah.
Just white on white.
Toothpaste.
Just said that white on white.
Get like a blue streak in the middle of it, so I literally look like a tube of
That'd be
toothpaste.
cool. Maybe like
Pop it
half.
out, yeah.
And it's long right now, so it's the best time to do it.
The only
That's the
reason
worst
why I
time to
wouldn't
do it.
like dye my hair is because it's curly and I don't want to lose the
Damage, yeah.
I don't want to lose the curl pattern or anything like that. So I'm looking
True.
for, like hair tints and stuff like that.
Definitely. I just bought a wig on Amazon, so I'm gonna be that bitch with pink hair.
I love how you did that.
I was like, damn.
Like I just copped a wig, y'all. Period.
I want a wig like for straight hair though, so that way I don't have to straighten my actual hair.
Right, true.
Put on that straight wig and then boom.
Get out, yeah. But
Yeah.
no here though.
Don't fucking touch my hair.
That's probably the best way to do it though if you want to have fun, I guess, is just buy like a wig and change it up because yeah, you don't have to commit, you don't have to damage your own hair and all that shit either.
For sure.
Well, all right, everybody, welcome to Wig Talk. No,
Yeah.
Right.
all right. So you guys want to talk about dance and shit?
I guess.
I guess we could.
I mean, sure.
All right. Welcome to BARRE Talk. I'm joined this week by Kacey Azucar, Noah Jakcson, and Xochi Velazquez, and we're gonna talk about dance and shit.
So what about dancing though? Like, what about it? Because I don't know anything about it.
Right, where are we gonna start?
Where are we gonna start?
It's a big topic.
It goes back to Liz's fucking class of what is dance?
What is dance to you? Do you
didn't
need to move to dance? No. Like,
Century era.
But I guess we could kind of we could start now and work backwards, or we could kind of start at the beginning. So do you want to do like pandemic, what's going on as we're opening up stuff, or do you want to start with like when I was 5 or whatever?
I was thinking that like you tell your story. You know,
Yeah, let's do it.
You're gonna say it the other way.
I was gonna say let's start backwards.
Oh shit.
There's already tension in the podcast.
Right.
We just had a fight.
It's 2 against 2 right now.
I split out, y'all. We were back.
We were all.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It wasn't actually a fight.
Wait, but like when you say going back, do you mean like our interpretation of it? Like,
Yeah, like you said, like telling your story of like how you got into dance and where it started, where it's taken you, where you want it to take you now, all this stuff.
okay.
All right, let's start. Let's do that then. Let's start way back. So, how did you guys? When did everybody get into dance? Let's start there.
When did we get into dance?
Yeah.
Well, we were both 4.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Like we both basically started at the age of 4 with dancing. Not at like the same studio.
Oh, I was gonna say, were you at the same studio at 4?
Right.
We didn't know each other.
Oh,
then.
how cute.
We just,
Imagine.
that'd be crazy. That'd be so random. But like, no, we both happened to start at the age of 4 years old.
Yeah, separately.
Wow.
What about you, Xochi?
I took my first dance class when I was 6.
Okay.
It was tap, of course, because I wasn't old enough to do jazz.
Mhm.
So.
Oh yeah. What was your guys' classes that you took when you were 4?
Well, I'm pretty sure because when I started dancing, it was like a program, so it was just like whatever they offered. I think it was like ballet, jazz, and I don't know if it was tap, but I know it was like ballet, jazz, and like modern, something like
Oh
that.
wow.
Oh wow, that's a lot at 4.
Yeah. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Trying to kill me already. I was like, oh my gosh.
I just stuck with ballet for like 6 years, and then I did
Oh,
tap
wow.
for a little bit afterwards, and then it was like little phases, you know.
That's cool.
Hey, now I'm
Mhm.
gonna do ballet. Now I'll do tap. Now I'm gonna do hip hop, and then
Bam.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know.
That actually reminds me. I think I saw you guys before I ever met you or was in Liz's class. I saw you guys perform like the year before that, and you did like this crazy tap number that was super cool. That was like I think it was like a through the ages dance thing. So it was like one song was tap, and then it kind of moved on, and then it was like this, and like some lyrical, and then some hip hop, and like super cool.
Yeah, that was
was
the
it
year
the
you
sh-
came in.
Yeah, was it the show?
Yeah, it was a show.
Oh,
Spring,
okay.
right?
Yeah, it was
Like
spring.
that was the time you came in, and then the pandemic happened, but you were supposed to be in that show, right?
Yeah. But it was the show where I saw you guys was the one before that. I wasn't part of the
Yeah.
program yet.
So 2019, and then we met 2020.
Mm-hmm. Guess would have been.
Wow.
Timeline.
Did we look good in that piece?
You look so good in that piece. Are you kidding me? It was
It's
insane.
like-
I was honestly so
I'm
surprised.
so worried about like, did we look
Did
good?
we look okay?
Was I all right?
Are we okay?
Like, don't lie to me right now.
Can you validate me, please? Yeah, no, it was for a dance like history class. We had to we were required to go see the performance, and I was totally like just arrogant and like, I've been to real
Oh,
ballet
gosh.
schools. This is gonna be nothing, some community college dance program, whatever. And I was like, this is gonna be shit. And then I was watching and I was like, fuck, people are really good. What the hell? There's talent everywhere.
That's the thing, though.
LA.
And it's like community college. Like, you don't know what you're gonna expect when you like go to a show. So.
Yeah.
I was blown away, honestly.
That was probably one of the best ones that I've like experienced being in the ballet college dance production. You know, I've been in 3, so this third one, that the last one was the best one.
Oh, cool.
In my opinion, I like it the most.
You saw the best show.
You saw the best show.
Best show.
Yeah.
Damn.
The final one.
Speaking of Valley, we're kind of jumping around. It doesn't matter. Speaking of Valley, are you guys going to stay with the Valley dance program, or because it's like with a whole year off in the middle, are you gonna like when classes restart, are you gonna kind of go into dance production 2022? Is it like, you know what I mean? Like, or are you gonna be done with college by then and going on to 4-year or something?
I'm pretty sure for me, I'll be done by it. But like, 2021 this year.
Yeah,
Oh.
2020's that ship sailed. Can't do that.
2022 is coming up.
Yeah.
And so like, I should be like, if I stay on track with my classes, I should be done with Valley. But I did also talk to a counselor, and he was like, oh, if you want to like take like general classes just to take it, like not for a grade, you can just take classes. So I was like, oh, I might do something like that if I just want to like do something, you know. So I'm kind of like on the fence with it, but I should be done by 2022.
Probably the same thing.
Nice.
And if I do want to like participate in that, because you can't participate without being like
Graded.
Oh
like,
yeah, because I think Nadia was doing that and she wasn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and
getting a degree.
also maybe like just choreograph that time, not actually like be in it.
Oh,
just
that's cool.
be part of
nice.
the production team or whatever. I don't know.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
And do you guys like do you have plans for what you want to do like after college? Do you want to go from here to more college, or do you want to go into like dance programs or start doing stuff independently or what?
I would just like to like get my bachelor's, like college wise. I would like to get my bachelor's, but and for dancing, I'm gonna do that forever. I feel.
Yeah.
I would just do that forever, you know. And what I would like to do more so is like fashion, I guess, like visual merchandising, you know,
Okay.
stuff like that. So that's what I would get my bachelor's in, and then eventually start off more in there.
That's cool.
That's
What
cool
about
as
you?
hell.
Solid plan.
Yeah,
Solid.
they both have creativity, and they're both like be an extension of what I am. So
Yeah, and they go so well because it's that
They
kind of
can go
thing, that
together for
visual-
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
That
awesome.
is super cool.
So that's my plan.
Nice.
Period.
So what's your plan?
For me, it's basically like the same. Like, I do want to get my bachelor's for sure. Like, because I mean, my dad lately has been more like on my case, like, oh,
When are you gonna
so
finish?
after Valley, like, yeah, when are you gonna finish? And after Valley, like, what are you gonna do? And so, I mean, I definitely, want to get my bachelor's somewhere else. I don't know where yet, but I'm either gonna stay out here in Cali or I'm gonna go to New York. But I kind of prefer California because like New York is a lot. I feel like
Okay.
New York is more technical.
it's more technical. I don't feel like I'll fit in there because like it's more technical, like she said. So I feel like I'm not that type of dancer. Like I could be, but
Anymore.
personally, I don't feel like I fit in with that.
I feel like you
Okay.
don't get into it anymore because you
Yeah,
used to
like-
be about
Being like really
Tech.
technical.
Mhm.
technical.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say because you have the technique. Like I could see you
Yeah.
fitting into the modern hip hop scene in New York.
But you
with no
have a
problem.
commercial personality,
Hmm,
so you need to be more.
Like, I'm like
commercially.
like geared in the sense. I'm
Yeah.
not really like because I used to want to be like in a company, like in
Uh-huh.
New York, like where they tour and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I couldn't see myself doing that, and I might even consider that later on. So I feel like I honestly have a lot of options because I'm so like versatile, which is
Yeah.
like, you know,
It's a really good thing.
I'm just gonna kind of see where, like, once I graduate and everything, see like, okay, how do I want to go about this, and just like plan it out. And that's another thing, like with dance specifically, is like you can either go the commercial route or like the company route, or there's like the teacher route where you're just like a teacher the whole time. And so, or it's like a mix of all of
a
that.
little bit of everything.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
there's no really like guidebook or anything like that. So you just kind of do whatever you're feeling in your
I love that. That's
Literally being an artist the way like an actual like painting artist does his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do what we do.
Well, that is kind of interesting because like initially my plan was to go company route,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked the boundaries of that. Like, you know, where you sit, you've got people that are like, this is what you do and how you do it. Now do this thing, blah blah blah.
It's really official, yeah.
The commercial world from the outside is frightening because it's like, what do you you just do gig work and just hope, like, and that's like that uncertainty.
What do you
I feel like you've got to be really self-sufficient, really good at like navigating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. It's like commercially you have to basically but consistently, or else you're basically screwed. If that's like your only form of payment, you're like, all right, well, I hope I get this audition or I will not pay my rent. You know, so.
Rent is due.
And a lot of dancers have to do like the whole like the teacher route just because of that. Like they want something that's consistent, steady, or the company route, which is also good because like you're technically like touring. Like that's still like a cool thing to do. And you're like,
for sure. All right, so jumping back then. So you guys started at 4 with like some ballet and tap and stuff like that. As you got a little bit older, how old do you think, like when do you think you realized like, oh, this is more than just like something I do after school, you know?
so,
Okay.
you me?
Yeah.
Mine's is kind of like a funny story. Okay, so back, you know, I told you guys I started at 4, right?
Right.
So at the time, the program that I was at, they offered dance classes and acting classes. And so basically, since I was 4, I've been dancing and acting. So from that age until my middle school years, I'd basically been like doing both, just in different programs and just, you know, do my thing. Yeah. And so I really was committed to acting. Like I was leaning on the acting side, like, oh, if I wanted to do something professionally, of the two, which would I choose? I was definitely leaning towards like being an actor, and I was seeing like a lot of kid actors at the time, and I was like, oh my god, like they look so cool.
You grew up here, right?
Yeah, I grew up here.
Okay,
and
that makes sense.
I saw like a bunch of like, I started to see a lot of kid actors, so I was like, oh, I want to do this. This is like looks so cool, and so I auditioned for like the top acting class at my middle school, and I did not get in, and I was devastated. I was heartbroken.
Oh, man.
And at the same time, I also auditioned for the dance, like the top level dance thing, and I got in. Like I looked at that list and my name was there, so I was like, okay, I was bitter. I was very bitter because I was like, oh, I wanted to be an actor. Like I was so committed to this, but then like I think, when I got dance, something in me kind of like clicked. I was like, oh, maybe this is like what I should be paying attention to. You know what I mean? Like, because I still enjoyed acting, but I was like, maybe I can still like look at this more seriously and focus on it. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I was in high school, I was like, oh, this is like, I'm a dancer.
Like this is it. Yeah.
Like this, yeah. Like when I was in high school, I just danced the whole time. I was not doing any acting. I was not interested. I still like to act from time to time, but it's just like I know what my passion is now. You know, like that's my story.
That's awesome. I love it.
Exactly your story.
Yeah.
Kacey, what about you?
Acting.
What about you, girl? We're kind of similar. I remember we even both talked to this. That's why I was like, oh, I remember you saying this because.
Side note, we both went to the same middle school, which is crazy.
Okay.
We knew each other at the time, but it was just crazy.
And yeah, kind of like the similar route. When middle school, I was still dancing a little, like kind of like starting to fade out a little bit. And then middle school, there was like choirs, there was band, and there was dancing. So it was like a performing arts middle school. And I basically went into band at first, and then the last year I went into singing. Okay. So I had my phase where I was like, I like the trumpet, but I like singing a lot more. So I was like, okay, maybe dance is not my thing anymore. Maybe it's singing. So I did that for a little bit, and then I just stopped after I graduated and high school hit. I wasn't doing anything until like the dance team started like popping up, and I was like, let me just get into the dance team. So until then, that's when I was like, okay, dance is what I need to be doing. This makes sense for me.
What brought on that shift from like singing to dancing being like more of the thing?
I think just being a kid and not knowing anything, and just
true.
yeah, and just being like a 14-year-old dreaming, having many dreams, basically. Just like, what if this works out for me? Or like, what if I'm a musician? You know? Where do I see myself? So basically, like getting a little taste of everything. Until eventually, I was like, dance is what
this is the thing.
Is the thing.
Yeah, love that. And then that's when you guys met. Was in high school.
No,
the high school dance program.
Valley College.
Oh, okay, all right. So you went to the same middle school, but you didn't know each other, and then you met in college.
Gotcha. And it's funny because I remember seeing her face at our middle school Milliken, and so in that first class at Valley, I think we had the first class, or I had my first class when I went to Valley was what was that class called?
It was like the second semester of my second semester, his first semester of college.
Yeah, like she was already there, but for me it was my first time, and we both had our physical.
No, it was a kinesiology.
Yeah, kinesiology class together. And so like she had this, I remember like eyeing her in the classroom, like I feel like I've seen her somewhere. Like I don't know, it's just like I feel like I know her. And so eventually the teacher was like, okay class, so we're gonna do like group assignments. So like everybody like find a group. And so I immediately was
all
like,
the dances went.
I was like, I know you.
And I was like,
I know.
You don't.
I knew her, but she didn't know me, so she thought I was
It's so
crazy.
funny. Everyone that has gone to that middle school, it's like they're like, you look so familiar, and I'm like,
who are you?
I don't know you.
But yeah, it's just crazy, like thinking about how people like how we met to like where we are now.
That's
like,
crazy.
Like it's so crazy because like
I love that though.
it's crazy. Yeah,
really
it's funny. I love that too. It's crazy.
It's very like
It's like a cute story. Like
it is. It's totally cute. So then, so you're at Valley, and then did you like once you had the group project or whatever, and you kind of connected? Then did you like when did you start choreographing and really dancing together?
Here's another funny story. So when we were actually in 2 classes together, but we didn't realize we were in the same class until like halfway into the semester. We were in choreography class.
Oh, okay.
And we were like, oh, yeah, we're in the same class here too. We didn't realize that. And then once we realized that we had to do like certain assignments in that class, and Liz, she would be like, okay, like pick partners and stuff like that. We would just automatically be like,
it just, I don't know, it was like universal. It just happened.
It just happened.
That's awesome. I kind of liked that about her classes. As much as do kind of tease her about the whole kind of, it is very that college dancing thing. What is dance to you? Let's define the space, and it's very kind of cerebral stuff where you're like, okay. But I do love some of that, like the what's that exercise she would have people do where it's you just have to maintain eye contact with someone for like 10 minutes, and you're like, you're not allowed to like giggle and all that kind of stuff, and you just having to like it felt really uncomfortable and silly to begin with, but I feel like it was very useful. I don't know, I love all that stuff. I think it is interesting, and I feel like it does harbor like collaboration more than just like business.
Yeah, like Xochi, you haven't had like this class before, but like one of the exercises is like she has everybody partner up in 2s, and literally like, okay, you have to look at your partner. You cannot smile, you cannot smirk, you cannot laugh, you can't like adjust your clothing.
She's like, I want you to look into each other.
I want you to look into each other's eyes, and I'm gonna count a time for 10 minutes. And so we literally had to sit there like
like deadpan as fuck.
Yeah, like I was like, dude, and if anybody was like laughing or like making a joke out of it, she was like, stop.
Stop.
I don't know.
Oh my
It was just a crazy exercise, but it was also like you said, Michael, like it really does like help you like kind of
loosen up a little bit. Like,
loosen up a little bit, feel like more present in yourself, not be so like shaken up about it. You know, it's not that.
Outside.
Oh yeah, sorry. But yeah, it was like a crazy exercise, but it was useful for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also interesting, like how crazy uncomfortable at first it feels to do that. Like, I don't know, I feel like we take for granted things like eye contact and how uncomfortable most people are maintaining it for a long period of time. Like, people don't really like stare at you like they do in movies, where it's like, oh, people are usually like looking all over and having a conversation because they're thinking or whatever. Like, and that is kind of interesting, becoming more like in tune to your body that kind of way.
Yeah, like, or when we're walking around and she wants us to look at each other instead of like looking down, stuff like that, you know.
It breaks a wall, because sometimes you go in with a mindset of like, okay, like I'm gonna just be to myself and stuff like that. So
like, I'm just get through this class real quick and just like, you know.
right here, like you're being forced to like interact.
Yeah, you kind of smile at people, you kind of like warm up to people, you know. It's like, it's really good. It's a good exercise. And it's like a developing thing. Like, as you go, you kind of slowly be like, oh, like, I'm kind of getting warmer to you. Even like, it's some people it's like faster, but other people it's like it takes a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good for that. It's like a consistent exercise. Yeah.
Damn, that's badass.
Shout out to Liz if she's watching. I don't know.
I doubt it, but yeah, shout out to Liz. I asked her, I was like, I'm doing a podcast where I talk to like people about dance. You want to do that? And she was like, no. I was like, okay, sorry.
Damn.
We're all grown ups. I don't know why she would say no, but yeah.
I get it. Okay, cool. So then, I think
Wait,
the first
Michael,
thing.
what about you though?
What do you mean?
Like your story, like how you, like when you growing up dancing, all that stuff.
I started when I was like 5. I was in New York, and there were classes at Joffrey, so I just needed like an activity, so my parents put me in that, and I liked it, so I kept going. And then
New York?
That's crazy.
Did you grow up in New York?
Yeah, initially I was in the city for a few years in upstate, and then when I was like 15, I was like, I think I want to do this like professionally, partly out of like passion and love, and then partly also that thing of just like, this seems like a safe bet. Like, just, I don't know, it seemed like a track that it was like I was already on it, so I was like, well, I like this, I could do this.
Like, might as well keep going.
Yeah, and it sounds better than having to deal with like the stress of college and everything. I was like, fuck that, I'll just dance. And then that's when I moved down to Florida, and I went to Next Generation Ballet in Tampa, and also attended high school that was kind of nearby, and that's where I met Xochi. She was in both of those programs as well.
Nice. Oh, that's crazy. That's cool.
What a throwback. That was like 10 years ago.
It was literally 10 years ago. Fucking crazy. And she was like, I hate this person. And I was like, fair enough, actually.
I could not stand Michael when I met him. I was so annoyed by his presence. Everything. He was just so annoying. He was such a try hard, you know, and like I just couldn't. He was a jerk. He was so douchey. And then and it's true, like that's how he was on the outside. True. But then when, you know, I ended up, because I think you were in your sophomore year, and then I started my freshman year at Blake, the high school that we went to. And well, since I knew Michael and we were both in the dance program, I kind of, you know, I was like, oh, I know him. So I started saying hi to him. And then eventually we started hanging out. Like, I don't know, we just started hanging out. And then I was like, oh, you know, he's not so bad. Like, he just wasn't, he wasn't at all the person that he pretended to be, you know?
Yeah.
So we clicked, and then we would, to be honest, we would skip school all the time, and we'd go walk downtown and eat pizza and do god awful things. Yeah, we were little rebels.
Cigarettes and stupid shit.
Oh, I didn't know if you wanted me to mention that part. But
everybody knows.
Excuse me.
Let's lay it all out.
We have to leave, actually.
I mean, yeah, we changed smoke cigarettes.
Yes, okay.
Oh God, it was bad.
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after a couple of years in Tampa, there I got offered a spot at National Ballet School in Canada, and I went there, and then I got kicked out 3 months in because I was still doing dumb 17-year-old shit. I got arrested for shoplifting, and the cops brought me back to the dorms, and then the school was like, yeah, you're out, dude.
Aw, dang, man.
Because I barely got into as far as like talent and technique and where I was, and it was my senior year, so I really had no business entering a program like that. So I got in by the skin of my teeth, and then did that, and they were like, yeah, fuck off. So then I went back down to Florida. I moved. My dad had subsequently moved to Orlando, so I moved there, and I went to Orlando Ballet School for a year. Finished up high school, like barely graduated because I was just a mess. And then I went out to Salt Lake City and was in the trainee program there for like 2.5, 3 years. And then that's when my hard stuff started. And then that kind of brought me to LA. And then, yeah, now just in college and at a studio and all that stuff.
Your whole life was like East Coast. Now we're in LA.
Yeah. We really did.
Crazy. That's a crazy story, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's where we are. Xochi, what about you?
My story is trash.
I mean, all
started
trash. It's fine.
Never trash.
All right. Well, let me start from the beginning then. Okay, so I started dancing when I was like 6. I started tap. Then I started jazz. When I was around 9 years old, my tap teacher said, hey, you should start doing ballet because you're good at tap. And I think it would be a good foundation for you to have good technique. Like ballet is good for technique. So I was like, okay, sure. So I tried ballet. I took a few classes and I totally fell in love. From that point forward, I was only doing like ballet and tap. But because my ballet schedule was so rigorous, like I knew my tap shit. I love tap. That was my first love, like dance, introduction to dance and stuff. So my tap teacher, the one that told me to start doing ballet, she started kicking me out of her dance pieces because I wasn't able to be there for rehearsals, even though I knew all the steps because my mom would videotape all the classes. And so she just like started kicking me out of her dances. And then at that point, I just said, well, screw it. I'm just going to go full time, like ballet, basically at 9. Then, and that was in San Diego where I started dancing at like San Diego Civic Youth Ballet. It's like this little school in like, I don't want to say bad things because I love Miss Danica, but it's not great. Like tippy toe ballet school almost. And then I moved to Florida when I was about 10 years old. Yeah, I was 10 when we moved to Florida. And that's when I started dancing at what was known as at the time was the Patel Conservatory, which is now the Strass Center, which was where Next Generation Ballet was. But at the time, it was part of Orlando Ballet. And I took classes there. And that's when I really started getting serious, like around 12 years old. I was like, I really love dancing. I love ballet and I want to do this. I got introduced to modern there and I hated modern at first, but then now when I got older, like I loved modern. Like I love doing modern now. It's so like good for your body too. It's crazy. But yeah, I started dancing there. I went to high school, same place Michael went to, and I trained pretty seriously at I was never in Next Generation Ballet because I never had the body type, so I wasn't allowed to be part of the program. So because that happened, I then started looking for other ballet studios that would take me seriously the way I was taking dance seriously. So I found this studio that a lot of people at Blake went to, that same high school. And
did you go to ABS? Is that where you went?
That's where I went. I went to ABS. Shit. And I like reached my prime there, like my peak, because they really worked with me. They said, yeah, your body needs work, but we're going to tone you. Like you're going to be ripped. Like, and I did. I was very strong. I was very good for my age. Was. And then we needed to leave Florida. It just wasn't the place for us. So we came out to LA. I danced at Los Angeles Ballet Academy for a while. they I was so close to getting the RAD certification because I did when I was at Blake, we went to New York for the ABT exams, ABT and TC like certification exams, and I got highest in my class, highest score. And I was that bitch. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I got and the thing is like I didn't even pay for that because Miss Albana, she offered to pay for it because we were very broke. Like I've been very poor like since I was little. So she offered to pay for my certification, and as long as I basically was just there taking the exam because the teachers get graded too. So she was like, you know, I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. But all we had to do was pay for the plane ticket to New York because I had family in New York. Then anyway, so we got here to LA. I danced at Los Angeles Ballet Academy, almost got the RAD certification, but that's when my mom got really sick. I had my teachers, they wanted me to get RAD certified. Not only that, I had one of the teachers at 16, you know, he had his friend was artistic director of State Street Ballet, and he wanted to get me into the company. And I put dance aside at that point because my mom was sick and I was the only person that she had. So I took care of my mom instead. And from that point forward, like dance in my life took the back seat, you know. And after my mom passed away, I didn't dance. I didn't dance for a long time, especially because I lived with this thing. Like the biggest thing my mom loved was seeing me dance. And like, I did not want to dance without her here. And even though I knew, like, of course, you know, dance for my mom, you know, I would say all these things in my head, but it was just like, I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to enjoy it anymore if she can't enjoy watching me or whatever. So for a while, I stopped dancing just altogether. And then I moved to Mexico and I stopped dancing. I still wasn't dancing. I was teaching at a little school in Mexico. And then after that, I came back to like LA, South Bay, and I took a class at San Pedro City Ballet School, where Misty is from, Misty Copeland. And Cindy, her like teacher or whatever, she saw me in class and she said, you should come take class like all the time. She's like, you have great technique. Come take my class. Like, I won't charge you anything. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just started dancing again, getting back in shape. She had me do all the shows. Her husband, Patrick Bradley, he's the coolest. He's amazing modern choreographer too. He had me in all his dances too. But then eventually I slipped out of that too. I've just been so inconsistent. That's why I'm like, my story is trash, because it's been like recently in the past few years, it's been really inconsistent for me. I did dance shortly with a company, Kenneth Walker Dance Project, which is just like a local company here. And I did a couple seasons with them. And listen, okay, I have not danced in over a year, right? Tell me how he asked me to dance, do a show next month. Really? I was like, no, I can't do that. I cannot do that. I'm like, the audacity. But yeah, so now I'm over here. Sad that I'm out of shape. But I definitely do, like, I want to get back to it, because, you know, when you leave dancing, it's like something's missing from you. Like, especially when it's been that long in your life, it's just like something's missing, and I want to go back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sometimes it kind of feels like you can't escape it, like it's trapping you.
Right.
You're like, wow, like I have no other choice. All right, cool.
Right. And I taught for a while. I taught like really consistently. I was teaching at a few different schools, but I don't know. I more than anything, I experienced so much burnout like in my younger years that I just want to be able to really enjoy and love dancing. I love, more than anything, I love watching people dance. That's my favorite thing. But of course, when you take a class where you have that freedom to express yourself and do choreography and stuff, that's what I really miss, you know. But yeah, someday, you know, I definitely know that dance will always be there, because that was my first passion, like my first love, you know, and it'll always be in my life in a sense, no matter which way it is.
Oh, I see.
That's my story.
I cannot believe you called it a shit story. I cannot believe you.
I know. seriously.
Wow,
It-
it's a beautiful
something interesting.
I can relate to.
Definitely a lot.
Yeah, I mean the twists and turns of life, right?
Absolutely.
So what? Michael, ask a damn question.
All right. What do you think for you guys has been your biggest struggle with dance? Like, what's been your thing?
So take a second.
I was like, I do not struggle with dance.
The-
I just kill it. What do you mean?
It makes it look this.
guys.
Oh, there's definitely struggles in
No,
there.
yeah, there's definitely struggles.
I guess consistency for me too. Just like having to like, I would say like yes, dance is my passion. I love for it, and it's also my first love because I started at a young age. But there was always that like drift of like leaving and then coming back. So it's a weird love and hate. I guess I would say hate, but a love and like disinterest. And also during the pandemic too, I would say like it started like because it's funny that you say that like your mom passed away because my mom also too passed away last year during the pandemic. And when you said that, I was like, wow, like that hit. So also like also when you said that you didn't have your mom to watch you, that also felt like, okay, like I don't really want to dance anymore. Like she's not here. There's no one to show off to in a sense. So
100%.
So I guess that would also bring us later on to good days. We can talk about that later. Because that's kind of like what initiated it also.
Yeah.
But,
no, let's talk about it now. What do you mean? Expand on that.
I mean, I want him to say his struggles too.
Oh, no. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no.
I get into something else.
Your struggles. I want to hear about your struggles because I don't hear about them.
That's true.
We can segue it again.
We can go back to good days. You're talking about the piece, right?
The piece. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I would say for me, with dancing, honestly, like when I think of like what I struggle with, I kind of think I've always struggled with being a perfectionist. Always just kind of thinking like a lot of people expected certain things of me that I had to deliver, or else I personally felt like shit. Like I was just like okay, quit dance. Like, you know what I mean? And not that dramatically, but essentially that. Even if I wasn't necessarily what somebody expected me to be, like they wouldn't be like, oh, like you did a terrible job. Like, you know, nobody's gonna be like, you did awful, you know? But like I kind of just looked at it in that sense. So I was always pressuring myself more so than other people pressuring me to bring it, you know what I mean, consistently, and like always be like not necessarily the best, but just be like my best. And so that's kind of one thing for me. Another thing for me is like with I guess a lot of people have always kind of said that I'm like a good dancer, which is like I kind of am like I've been dancing since I was 4. Like if I wasn't a good dancer, I'd be like what am I doing? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm kind of like thank you, but at the same time it's like I know people outside of like Valley College and like people that I know people like online and like or people who I see in classes who are like younger than me or older than me, and they're just like on a whole other level. So I have an issue of sometimes comparing myself to people for sure. Like just kind of I wouldn't say like wanting to be them, but it's more so of a like, oh, I wish I was like on that level, because when people tell me like I'm good, I'm like, oh, like thank you, but like so in my head it's like amazing.
You don't feel it for
you know
yourself.
what I mean? Or like if I'm going to take a class by a teacher, I'm like that teacher is so amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm nowhere near this teacher. And so I don't know, it's just certain things like that, like certain like mindsets. But I would also say on the bright side of that, like during the pandemic, you have a lot of, or I had a lot of like me time, like a lot of time to just be by myself and just kind of sort of like reflect on everything I've done and look back at like my videos and all that stuff. Like, wow, like, you know, even though I always kind of feel like I'm my worst enemy, like, or my worst critic, I definitely sit here and be like, I like worked hard. Like, I definitely did everything like myself or with the help of my friends. Like, I put myself out there. I'm like a leader, essentially. I like tried my best. I put my best foot forward. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like you're doing your best. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to always feel like you have to be on the top of your game necessarily, or you have to be like the best person in the room or whatever.
Yeah.
You just do your best. Like, you have to do your best. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about comparing yourself. It's just about being your best yourself. So I would say
100%.
that would be my answer. It's kind of weird though. It's
The
complicated.
pandemic definitely helps.
Yeah, the
bring
pandemic
that
I
forward.
think definitely helped. For sure.
Yeah. The pandemic was a good like
Pause.
yeah, like a good forced pause and kind of like face yourself with your psychology or your spirituality or however you want to put it. But yeah, because I think normally it was very easy to just have endless distractions, and I think the pandemic it was like eventually you're gonna whatever your distraction is you're gonna run out, like that's gonna get old, and then you're just left with yourself there and you gotta face yourself. But I think that's kind of a silver lining to it. I hope that you know people have a similar kind of growth. That's a fascinating answer though, and that's very I think very relatable. I know it's very relatable because I relate to it. The comparative thing, looking outside yourself for sure. When I saw that your guys' show, I went from going in thinking I'm gonna be smug here because I've been to whatever ballet school, blah, blah, blah. And I went from that to immediately the other side of the spectrum. I was watching you guys and I was completely intimidated because your versatility and your skill and your flow and all of these things I was looking at and I was like, I can't do that. Fuck. And it's like it gets you there is this kind of weird balance of wanting to look at others for inspiration, but not always thinking the grass is greener because I think that can be a big block as well. Where it's like, oh, if I had that instead of whatever I have.
Yeah, too. Literally, I'm like, I have to tell myself that so and so might be good, but I know that whoever they are, like that I look up to, that they definitely face their own issues and struggles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever you think that they have, you're probably capable of having it too. But like,
or having something different as a you know
or
like,
something else. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly what you're looking at or something like that. You know. And also, social media definitely like is something that help like not helps with that, but like it's the reason why that's such a huge thing for a lot of people. Like wanting to be like, oh, so and so is so popular, they're so famous, or they're so like clean. I always love when I see them do a pirouette. Oh my god, their leaps are crazy.
It's
Stuff
a
like
good
that.
and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel like, and that's also, I guess, it would be a struggle. It's like looking at so many good dancers and thinking that, like, also, like, okay, well, I'm not at that level. Like, I'm not gonna get the same views. I'm not gonna get the same hype, you know, and stuff like that. But it's like you don't necessarily have to be like them. Like, you're your own dancer for a reason, and you're self-expressing in your own way, not the same way that they are. Yeah. And that's okay.
And Instagram, what's crazy is like I never really thought about it before, but that whole thing of like a picture's worth 1,000 words, it really is, because you can see one picture and there can be like 10 different ways for you to feel bad about yourself wrapped up in it. You're like, okay, here's this picture. This person's 16, so they're younger than me. They've got more ahead of them. They've got a tilt that I'll never have. They've got abs I'll never have. And behind them is a pool and a house that I couldn't afford. And you're like, well, shit, just in one photo, I've already feel bad about my body, talent, my socioeconomic position. Like, shit. Like, I got to get offline.
Literally.
True. Yeah. Kind of have a story to tell, but I want to, Xochi, you want to answer first?
All right, we'll come back to Noah's story to tell. We got so many
my
things to circle back
It's
to.
a good enough story.
Story I want to add.
my biggest struggle always since I was young was my body in dance. And I think that's what always like discouraged me so much, was because we had a director that would say, everybody in here needs to lose 5 pounds. I don't care how you do it. And there's girls throwing up in the bathroom, cutting themselves, not eating.
Toxic,
and
yeah.
that, and it's like, how is that healthy for like a growing adolescent? Like, what the fuck is that? But, you know, and I was lucky to switch studios at the time that I did, because first of all, I was already in crazy depression with stuff that was going on at home. But then finally I had teachers that said, yes, your body is different, but we can tone it, we can streamline you. And the thing is, you know, the crazy thing, the negative sticks with you more than the positive does. Because how many fucking times did I go out of state, audition other places, got accepted to every single audition? Every time I went to another school, they asked me to stay there. But I never thought about that. What stuck with me was the one fucking person that constantly said that my body wasn't right and I couldn't go there because my body wasn't right at that one place. And it's like, bitch, yeah, literally though. I mean, but and truly, I don't know why that always bothered me more than anything else. When really, like I said, everyone else looked past it, but I couldn't look past it either. And I think that's the big thing. Exactly.
Here.
So yeah, and I think that was, you know, my own struggle, is that I let my own insecurities get in the way, you know. So I listened and I shouldn't have.
That's a really
circle
good
back
point.
to Noah's story.
Got a story to tell.
Or Kacey could be.
Or Kacey's thing. What do we want to do first?
Okay, I'll finish mine first. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, fine. Like, it connects to what we're talking about. Okay, so basically my story is like, so I like when I did a project, The Little Mermaid Live, ABC, right? And so that was like, that experience for me was just like, I remember it was just so weird, because it's like you kind of finally have that moment where you're like, finally, like, I'm doing what I want to do, you know? And like I'm actually like dancing like for like this really high, like this is like a really professional like situation, project, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm on TV, like, you know, it's like I'm finally doing like what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so throughout the whole like rehearsal process of that, like it was like a month of rehearsals, I believe, and like I remember kind of basically being down on myself. Like I was basically like, why am I here? I don't know why I was so like, I remember being really kind of like just down on myself, because I was like, when you're looking in the room, like of people who are like on the job with you, right? You see a lot of people that like you would see like on every other gig, you know what I mean? Every other job. And so I kind of felt like I was a noob compared to everybody else. I was like, oh my God, like these guys book jobs like all the time. Like you see them all the time for like a TV gig, like a tour, professional like music videos. And so I was like, why am I in here in this room with these people? Like, you know what I mean? It was, again, comparing myself, stuff like that. And so it was like my first, like that was my first project doing something like that. So I was very like in my head for it, a lot of it for that whole like month. And I kind of like had to keep telling myself, you know what, like you auditioned and like they chose you. You know what I mean?
You deserve it.
Deserve
you
to be
earned
where
it.
you got.
It's like I've been dancing for so long. Like, why am I looking at like only the negatives? Like, oh, so and so is like they're always booking gigs. They should be here, not me. You know what I mean? Like, there's other guys that like I know, that everybody knows, like Instagram, like whatever, YouTube, that are like famous, and it'll be somebody else's friends that's on the project. They're like, oh, I wish so and so was here. I just kind of think about that sometimes, and I would kind of get sad for myself, but then I'd have to like step out of that, you know, to dance and all that. But just, yeah, like there's this moments where I was just like really like, I just really had to tell myself like, Noah, stop being down on yourself. Like, you're here. This is like what you earned. Like, you didn't just buy your way into it. You don't have like a friend to get into it, stuff like that. Like, you earned it. I think part of it was just because like it was my first time doing something like that. So I was just very like in my like shell of like, oh my God, comparing myself, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was definitely like a lesson to be like, just really like look at yourself, who you are, because sometimes people see something in you that you don't often see in yourself. So you have to really think like, wow, like, no, I'm here, and there's a reason why I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just that was basically my story. Just like a lot of like battling myself, but like I'm just kind of happy that I was also there for myself to be like, no, you did it. Like you're here. You know what I
You're
mean?
there. Yeah.
Because like I really could have went the other way, like cried my ass off. Like I was really like, fuck, like why am I here? Like it's a lot of pressure, but yeah, that's just the story.
I think that's the big thing about dance is like the mental gymnastics that you do, like to yourself by yourself, is just as exhausting as like a 6-hour rehearsal, because you're constantly thinking that, it doesn't go away. That's your all day, every day, mentality about yourself. And I don't know. I mean,
like the normal, but times 10.
Sure.
Exactly.
Because it was like, for me, I was like, oh, I should be used to this. Like, I mean, I'm taking so many dance classes. Like, I'm not really the type to compare myself. I just kind of keep to myself, and I'm usually really chill. When I was like in there, I was just so like, oh my God, like you're like Ariana Grande's dancer. Like, oh my God, you were like on that music video. Like, oh my God, like stuff like that. Like chill with that. You're in this room with them. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really just like chill.
That's
a hard like thinking.
It is a hard thing to get used to. It's like the way I used to think about it was because I had similar things where you come up to a new level and you're like, okay, this is a professional school or whatever. And I'm like, I don't belong in this room. Everyone else is comfortable in this room and I'm like a fish out of water. Yeah. But over time, I think it's just like exposure therapy. And especially if you can see direct progress where you go like, hey, a year ago, I was one of the worst people in this room. Now I'm one of the best people in this room. That's like the best feeling. And then I think once that happens, you got to get on to the next room. Because I think if you just stay there, it can get stagnant very easily where you're like, okay, well, this is where I'm comfortable. I'm just going to hang out here. This is cool.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, I mean, that's easier said than done. That's a really hard, like, kind of, you really approach to have to develop.
Yeah, like you have to be like giving yourself good talks, like certain things, like, and it's hard, like not everybody, is able to talk about themselves or like face things like that. You know what I mean? It's not always easy to like be your own person to talk to. Other times a lot of people kind of talk to their friends or they like let out their frustrations through something else, like an activity or whatever. And so I don't know. It's just you gotta like figure out your own way to go about it. So it's like a really real thing. It's crazy.
Sounds like we all need therapy. No, I'm just kidding.
You're on Thursday, you'll see you there on Friday. No.
I actually just had my phone call therapist appointment like right before this. It was really good.
Also, like this random thing, like therapy is like it's so much more common. Like I think it's not as like taboo or whatever as it used to be. So you can openly talk about it. You can openly be like, oh yeah, like go to therapy. Like it'll help you. You know what I mean?
I think it should be
like
I want it to become so normalized that it's like assumed that you do, where it's like you're in your 20s, time to get all this figured out.
Therapy is definitely not like I'm going psycho, like I'm going crazy. No, like
no.
Definitely be a help of even just going through life.
It's self-care.
And
it's care for others. Like I know people where I'm like, oh, you should go to therapy, and they're like, nah, I don't need that, whatever. And I'm like, no, you should go to therapy. Like you're annoying everybody. You should go to therapy.
I have a coupon.
Get this shit figured out.
I have a coupon. Oh, good. True. I had 4 years of therapy, and I just recently stopped. Like, when was it? Recently? I just recently stopped therapy. Now I need speech therapy. Yeah. I'm sure sometime in the future I'll probably go back, and if I ever have like a hard time again, I'll definitely go back. I mean, it's the best thing that ever helped me, honestly.
We support anybody.
We had to circle back around though.
Circle back. Kacey.
To Kacey.
Tell us your thing.
How Good Days came about.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
The people want to know.
I feel like Good Days, that song came at a good time during the year. Like, what did it come out in?
Oh, the Good Days video. Okay, right.
He's
I
like,
thought you literally just meant like the concept of like, yeah, Good Days. Like
Days.
song in the video. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I mean the video.
Right.
The one you asked us about to do the
Love it. Love it.
yeah, that came out in what, like the end of the year, and
it came out 8 months ago. Hit different. Mixed with, you know, the music video.
Mhm.
Yeah, it came out
So,
8 months ago.
8 months ago.
Oh.
I feel like when that came out, it kind of just like, how do I explain this? I guess so much shit was happening during that year that I guess everyone felt alone at a certain point. Everyone felt isolated because we were, and self-reflecting was very scary. And eventually, we really thought everyone was going crazy. Obviously, we saw everyone panicking, like if the world was ending, and we really thought like, well, this is over. Shit's done. The earth is gone. And
100%. This is traumatic. Just you telling this already. I'm like, shit.
just like,
I'm like, where's my therapist, bitch?
she's like dialing in.
There'll never
Girl, I
be
need to talk
toilet
to you
paper
after
again.
this shit.
And I guess halfway through the year, for me, I was like, also like alone. Like, yes, I did have my distractions. I was able to hang out with friends, you know, be with my boyfriend. But at the same time, like, once that distraction was gone, it's like it was just me in my room, myself, seeing how I'm gonna get through the next day, seeing how I'm gonna get through the night, and then just being up all night too, like no sleep, and then sleeping all day, and then it's just that battle of like, am I gonna eat today? Am I not gonna eat today? I don't know. And also like with the topic of like dance just fading away, like that kind of happened too. Even though sometimes I would try to be in my room, you know, okay, maybe I could freestyle. Like the ideas would pop in my head, but I would never act on it. And eventually, when that song came out, me and Noah, I guess, just immediately texted each other like, this song right here.
No, seriously, we were like, oh my god.
We were like, wow, like, because the song, the lyrics talk about a person, you know, like relationship wise, but it could definitely be interpreted so different. Because
like
I definitely
anybody you
took it
love.
way different. I took it as like, yes, I'm going through shit right now, but there is that light at the end of the tunnel. Like we could still have good days at the end of like the tragic, the down. Like it's like a roller coaster basically. There's the down, there's up. You know, you just go up from there. So that's definitely what the song gave us. And then I told her we have to do something to this. And then that's when that spark of like, let's dance again came about.
And it was Kacey. Like Kacey was the one who like initiated it, and I was like, I'm right there with you. Let's go. Because like I was feeling the exact same way about it. The whole like, because I was also going through something at the time, and we were like all experiencing. I mean, all of us really in the world and in America were like going through something, especially during that time. Really. So it was just like I needed something to like just get away from that, or to like look at it in a new way. Like, oh, this is gonna end. You know, there's an ending to this. It's not gonna be just straight up just sitting in darkness, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it was just a good way to be like, it was a good distraction, but it was also just a good like actual like moment to be like, yeah, this is gonna end soon. You know what I mean? Like, or if not, like we'll have each other at the end of the day, stuff like that. So it was great. Yeah, I love that video.
It's such a good video. Xochi, did you get a chance to see it? You gotta watch it. It's so amazing. It's really
where
good.
Is this?
It's on YouTube. I will.
On both of our channels, we both have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really happy for her because that was her first YouTube video.
Hey.
I've been making videos for a minute, but she's like, that's her first one. So
damn.
but yeah, so then okay, so then you guys started choreographing, and then how did you came to working with a production company? Now, had you worked with them before on Dreams and on other projects, or was this the first time that you worked with this company?
Oh, for Dreams, like that was just me. Well, Dreams is like a long story only because like it was at first when I was asked to do a performance, like a live performance, right? For my friend Ricky. And so he was like, oh, like, just do a piece like for like a show. And so I got my friends
that he was creating.
It was like a festival, and I was like one of the people like that was performing there. And so I got my friends together and I made Dreams like I think we rehearsed for like 4 or 5 months, maybe less, maybe longer. It felt like a long drawn out process for me.
Of the festival itself, or including the video?
Just the festival. I'm pretty sure that was like
3 or 4.
3 or 4 months, like of rehearsing, right?
Because it started in June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like somewhere.
The show was September.
In there, and so like it was like, but basically with Dreams, like that was just made for a live performance. Like it wasn't even like I didn't even think about it becoming a video.
Okay.
And after we did the performance, and I looked at the video, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like I kind of want to like do an actual
real video, yeah.
Why not turn it into an actual thing? And so it wasn't really like a company thing. It was just more of me being like, well, like I have time, like, and I'm really passionate about this and I care about it, and like it's my work, so why not, make it an official thing? Because like I looked at the live footage, like of us performing like in front of an audience, and I was like, this is cool, but like I'd rather it be like an actual video. And so from that performance to doing Dreams like for a video, I think we rehearsed for like 5 months. Well, I think it wasn't like us rehearsing for 5 months. I think there was just like a long pause
gap in between.
And
sure.
then we eventually got around to like rehearsing it.
You had
that
gap of like thinking about the idea, but we didn't start rehearsing until like January.
Yeah, just like in terms of like from the day I started choreographing Dreams to like it being a live version to it being a video version. Like it was a whole basically almost year-long whole situation.
Okay.
So
it was after that you guys, because am I right in thinking that at Good Days there was a credit given to like some
Carlos
thing that filmed it? Someone
like we have her boyfriend.
He did both of those videos.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. Yeah.
On the lens. I think he does photography
yeah,
too.
He's a photographer and videographer.
Yeah.
It's great cinematography.
He filmed Dreams.
Match made in heaven.
It definitely was.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, man, like for sure, like you do videos, like come shoot my video, like why not, And it was just it was his first dance video too, because he usually does like I guess music videos, like stuff like
he
that.
usually does like people who like rap or like artists, like music
rappers.
Artists, and he'll do music videos like that. But
and I was like, dude, just come over here, shoot this video, you got it, like it's not a
you need
big
to go
deal.
the dancer route now.
Like because it was just like
awesome.
why not, try it,
Yeah.
He I think he pretty much loved it. I mean, I wouldn't say he didn't love it. He did.
Yeah, of course. Casey's like, he better.
Yeah. She was in both of them, so
I was like, we have to be professional. I was like, I don't know you when we're there.
No, seriously, I was like the direction. I was like, Kacey, Carlos, get away from the corner. Like, come on, no.
No.
Back to work.
We got 3 hours. And so, but yeah, like, Dreams was like just basically me, my friends, and videographer Carlos. It wasn't like a company thing necessarily. It was just like, it was more of a passion project.
And then Good Days was like fucking professional. Like,
yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, Good Days. We had like a great studio for it. Oh my God.
We actually got the venue for free.
For free, yeah. It was crazy.
Oh wow. Is that where you shot those shots that are inside?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then where are the other shots done? Because I feel like I remembered some of the buildings, but I can't remember.
It's in Santa Monica.
It's
okay.
Like a park.
That's what it is. It's in that part. Yeah. With the museum and the yeah. Okay, I know where it is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
It's a really cool. Like, I mean, we were just literally looking online, like at cool, kind of visually, like nice
cool
parks. Yeah, we were like, you want to just go to like any park, just. And so we were like, oh, this is dope. Like, let's go here. So then we just filmed the rest of it there. And it was funny because actually we were supposed to do everything in that studio that we had booked, but we didn't finish there. So we were like, what are we gonna do? And so we just let's just do the rest of it outside, like all the freestyling, like all the visuals, all that stuff.
Oh well, I
And
think
it
that
worked out
kind of
completely.
worked out great because it was like you're bouncing between all these cool locations and great
Yeah.
lighting and everything.
I was
and-
like against it at first. I was like, oh my god, this is trash. Like, what are we doing? I was
no,
like,
it was great. I loved it.
And I even asked my boyfriend Carlos. I was like, "What do you think? Like, visually, will this work? Like, going back and forth from outside and inside?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, coming from music videos, he's like, duh. People got short attention spans.
Yeah.
So
I was just like worried, but it worked out
Yeah.
so like it worked out so well. I was like, wow.
It did, and you guys are all fantastic in it. Alma and Dina, is that right? Dina?
Diana, yeah.
Diana. That's what I said.
I'm
Um,
dead.
Edit it.
It's funny because like Liz will do the same thing you just did. She'll call it like Deanna.
Everyone does that.
Oh well, see, that's what it's Liz's fault. She's putting ideas in my head. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think she's used to it.
That's cool. And did I see on the description, SZA has seen this and like commented on it or something? Like
Not commented, but she was doing her own fan video for the song itself. So
wow.
but what she did was like, oh, submit your anything. Submit a video, little clip of you just dancing in your room, clip of you
with your friends.
with your friends, or like any like little day
like
activity.
listening to the song, like
listening to the
whatever.
song, like yeah.
Yeah.
So we were just like,
I saw that and I was like, guys,
We
we're
got some shit for you.
our video,
video
for
for
good
Good
days.
Days. So let's
Why not
submit
just submit
a
something?
rehearsal
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
footage.
And we just like I literally just emailed them like here's a bunch of video clips, like please use us.
Use me.
And then like months later I like was like looking on YouTube and I was like, oh my god, there's a new video out by SZA. I was like, I watched it and I'm just watching and I'm
We're
like,
like,
oh my god, they saw me. Like it was just like it was a whole moment. It was
That's
really
so amazing.
And
Yeah.
a couple months later, boom.
Awesome.
we-
Wow. That's badass.
It's
I gotta go
seriously
watch
bad.
that now.
But, like honestly, it was like us appreciating like SZA's music and then SZA being like, oh, you guys are dope, like in the video. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a full circle.
That's so fantastic. To get validation like that too, like
Exactly. Yeah, it's like
100%.
wow, like,
Yeah.
it was so crazy.
Damn. That's crazy. And how long ago was that?
We started.
I was about to pull my phone
what
out.
is
like,
time?
No. I remember.
Right.
you know, it was like during
It was like October or November
yeah.
that we officially started.
Well, it's March 400th right now, so
Was the day after?
Literally.
Oh, okay,
Or
okay.
November.
It had to been around that time then. Yeah, it was like around like
October,
2020.
Yeah.
Like
2020 was
like
during
late
October.
2020.
And,
Okay.
But it was like finished by like 2021, like January, right? Or February.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think it was January.
The
Also,
end-
like
the
this year.
ends of January. So the beginning of this.
So pretty recent.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
that's so cool. It's exciting.
It took a
Mhm.
while for such a short video, but
Yeah, like it's funny because like at first with the one that she put out, the version was like a minute and like 15 seconds or something. So we were just inspired by that, just that 1 minute song. We were like, let's just do this.
yeah.
And then later on, she put out like a
I was
full
like,
5-minute version,
Yeah, watch her put out the entire
an
song.
actual like official like version. Because I guess what she put out was just like a snippet,
Mhm.
and we were just like inspired by that snippet. And then
Yeah.
like next thing you know, she puts a whole like 5-minute
And we
long
were like,
song out. So we're like, okay, are we gonna choreograph to this the rest of the song?
Hell yeah.
Hell no, let's
I was
just
like, no, we're not gonna do the whole entire.
we kind of just got like some movement in like other places
Yeah.
of the time, but we just
Yeah, I
we didn't feel like
condensed
doing
it
the
towards
whole
like.
song. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah, too much. 5 minutes is a long.
That's a
time for it.
lot of choreography.
a
Yeah.
lot of choreography for real. And like video wise, like you don't want to see the same thing. Like you know,
No,
get interesting.
smart.
So,
True.
it worked though. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was like a happy medium.
It worked out well.
What's
Yeah.
next?
That's cool.
What's on the agenda? What's
I
your
have something coming out soon.
Ooh,
Mhm.
can you
So
talk
like-
about it or is it secret?
I can talk about it. I mean,
All of a sudden. you want to talk about
I can
it.
talk about it, I guess. Talking, I feel so close to you guys. I feel like I'm right there. It's like it's me and my friend Natalie, who I met
Mhm.
from the Little Mermaid live project I did. And so I met her there, yeah. And she's like so sweet and kind. And like she was one of the first people that I connected to like, on that project that like didn't make me feel like shit. And so I was like, oh my god, you're like a dope person. Like, and then she was like, no, you're so good. Like whenever I'm back in town, like let's totally do something together. Cause she used to live out here, but she now lives, I think, in Florida. But she recently came back to LA because like she had like an audition or something. And so she was like out here for like 2 weeks. She was like, Noah, I'm in LA. Let's do something. So I was like, oh my God, okay, I don't know what to do. Like, oh my God. And I just had this song. I was like, let's just do this song. And then we just did the song. Yeah,
That's
literally
awesome.
like 4 rehearsals maybe. And then we shot it. And yeah, it was a lot of craziness. Oh my God. And the day of, like, it was supposed to be Carlos again that did Good Days and Dreams to shoot the video. But something came up basically. So he was like, dude, I can't film the video. It was like the day of, I was like, oh my God, what? So what are we gonna do?
So
And
he
like,
sent
somebody else.
that
He
he
sent his
knows.
friend, Sydney, I think Sydney. He sent him. It's funny. I'll tell you guys later. But he sent him the video, and it completely like worked out. It was like because
It looks really good. They
You've
edited
seen
in
it,
my
yeah.
house.
we're
Dope.
always like here editing
Nice.
videos, and so it was just better because I wanted everything to be like outside in this area that I liked, but
Yeah.
Sydney, because I like met him that day, he was like, oh, actually, like that'll totally work out for me because I'm currently at this studio in like LA. There's this new studio that just opened up that has like a bunch of like colored rooms. And so he was like, oh, just totally like come down here. I know you weren't trying to do that originally, but just like, why not just like see what it looks like? And so we're like, okay, I guess. So I went down there and oh my God, it just made the whole video like it just made it like more interesting. And so it's gonna come out maybe next week or the week after. But it's really cool. It's just me and my friend Nat.
That's so exciting.
And yeah, I'm excited. I'll probably send you like some stuff for your website too about it. But
Hell yeah, dude. Definitely do that. It's exciting.
Casey is working on a piece that she's not telling us about.
Okay, all right. So some
Yeah,
top
it's
secret
not
shit.
big of a production, but it's also just a short little like something to post. Like
Okay.
you like
Yeah.
It's something though.
Yeah,
Like, that's still
it's with,
something.
with my friend Anna.
That's so exciting. I look forward to seeing that.
Damn, now I'm all inspired and shit. I'm like, I gotta dance.
Yeah, hopefully I continue this consistency.
Yeah, I see it for you because like she just started her channel, so I'm like, oh, this is totally dope. Like, you know.
That's
It feels
awesome.
more comfortable to choreograph now, especially after Good Days. So even though I've done it before, like
You're such a good choreographer. Like, there's no reason you should feel
Aw.
that.
Like, get into it.
So
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
it stays like this.
Hell yeah. The pandemic has definitely been like a slowdown, I think. I mean, obviously everything stopped, but like in a sense, like you said, consistency and like once my big thing that I love about dancing is the fact that it's community based, like being in a room with other people, feeding off their energy, being inspired by them too. That's big for me. Like, and if I can't be in a room with other people doing that, it's like I don't even want to do it, you know. And I felt like I can't feed off of anybody. I'm not really inspired by myself, you know, and that's why I hope, you know, I'll take classes again and be able to be with people in class. That's such a big like staple for dance for me. Like I miss that so much.
That totally
on Zoom just did not work.
No. And it's hard in
No.
your wherever you're living and you usually don't have a good space.
My
and-
teeny tiny little studio.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like yeah, it's just
I really trying to make it work too. I was really like, okay, like let's just do it. Like this
let's
is
get
what-
inspired. Yeah.
No, literally, I was not feeling it.
It's an opportunity in
Yeah.
disguise.
Yeah, bro.
You know what's funny though is both of you guys mentioned kind of the idea where it's like when you feel like you don't have someone to perform for, that it can take that spark away. And I feel like that not even just with dance, but just life. Like if I go too long without interacting with people and getting that energy exchange, I feel like I start to like stop performing, just being alive. I'm like, why would I take care of why would I go through the motions of taking care of myself? Who cares? It's just me here. And finding that way of like almost having a dualistic relationship with yourself where you're like, I'm going to perform living and also be my own audience for that performance. Like there's this weird schizophrenia that has to happen for you to like keep the wheels turning sometimes. And it's
like
yeah, I think the
last social skills pandemic, because even like talking to people, I'm just like, like I don't want to be near you.
Oh, you don't? You're like now you're
now I'm just like
you're a homebody now.
yeah, I'm definitely a homebody. I was before, but I was more so able to interact easily and communicate a lot more easily before.
It's such a dramatic like transition.
Yeah.
Like going from like that long of just by yourself to being like
yeah.
Yeah. Interact again, and it's just like,
whoa.
Gotta build it up slow.
I don't know how to talk anymore. So.
Really though, I mean, what is there to talk about? It's not like they had sports and shit on. I mean, I never watched those anyway, but sometimes someone would bring it up. I mean, yeah, but did they do the Super Bowl? I'm like, they did.
Yes, sports was like the only thing that happened this year.
Okay.
Oh wow.
I guess to be fair, it was like before my friends would invite me to sports things, and I hate sports. I don't know a thing about them. But I would just go, to socialize, free food, drinks, whatever.
The ambience.
Not free food.
Yeah.
Free food.
Free food. That's the first thing. I mean, that's my first question. Like, is there going to be food? Nope. Can't make it. I got something that day.
Yeah, it is nice though to just reconnect in general. Yeah, just like because people need that for sure. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like even now for me, like when I take classes, like dance classes, I'm so like, dang, I suck at like talking to people. Like I suck at just being like, hey, how are you? Like, how was your day? Stuff like that. Like I feel like I'm so like by myself. And I have to
I think you guys are too harsh on yourself because you're both you strike me as very easy conversationalists, like and very friendly and like, hey, what's up? Like I know how to do that.
I know that. But I'm like still struggling. I'm like, wow, I suck at this.
We're out of practice. It's been so long. Sure. And first of all, the other day I was talking about how funny it was that we were like, oh, 2-week lockdown, haha, yeah, whatever. Everyone's gonna be hitting the bars after this, and it's like we were so stupid. 1 year later, they're finally opening up everything.
At first it was like, oh, this is just a 2 weeks lockdown. So we're just like, oh, okay, like whatever. And then it was slowly like a month. 3 months.
2 months.
I just convinced myself they're just throwing out 30 days at a time.
Yeah.
They were.
I was like, I have to stay home longer.
I like to go home anyway. And it was like, it was bittersweet because also with going back to like the thing with my mom, like it allowed me to stay home and to tend to her and just to be here, because if that pandemic wouldn't have happened, I don't know how I would have taken that. So
true.
It's like a up and down.
It's a balance.
It's a balance of good and bad. So.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that earlier. And it really is the kind of roller coaster up and down. I think at least for me, I don't know about you, how you guys feel about this. I think the hardest part about getting used to that duality of experience is expecting permanence all the time. I get on a good wave and I'm like, I figured out life. This is great. I'm in such a routine. It's just going to be like, this is smooth sailing from here. And then something bad happens and I'm like, I'm so surprised that it didn't, I had a bad day. And then the same thing happens where I get caught in a bad loop where it's like, oh, this week is I just haven't had the energy, whatever the fuck it is. I get that same thing where I'm like, it's never going to get better. This is it. It's going to be shit forever. Right. And then you have an upswing again. And kind of training yourself not to just think that whatever state you're in is where it's going to be forever. I feel like is
not to have any high expectations.
Well, or low ones either, just to go, okay,
just no expectations.
It's gonna be like this, and then it's gonna change, and then it's gonna change again, and it's just gonna go back and forth, and that's what it is. But that kind of constantly either thinking that it's gonna stay the same, or hoping it will, or hoping it doesn't. Like, man, just letting all that shit go.
For sure. Yeah, every time I get into like a bad little rut, I'm just like, this will go away. I'm not going to feel this soon. I mean, it might take time, but eventually it'll go away. Everything does. Like, it really is true. Time heals everything.
Roll with the punches.
You know? Yeah. See, that's why I got this tattoo. This tattoo right here is a unilome. So it's saying like the twists and turns of life, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then you find your enlightenment. And then that's the end.
See,
I love
oh
that.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I've been saying I want to get a tattoo, but I haven't.
You have no tattoos?
We want to get a tattoo and we want to get a henna, but we haven't gotten around to it, but we're gonna get there eventually.
They're fun.
Once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah, it's
remember that.
Permanent.
That too.
Like,
You get the dark mark, is that what you said?
She's like in the
chair. When you're getting a tattoo, you get happy because you go up.
Yeah. I think you said we're getting the dark mark, like Harry Potter, like you're gonna have the skull with the snake. It's like,
okay, like Slytherin or whatever. No, but yeah, like I like what you said earlier about I'm trying to remember what you said. You were like, challenges, like getting over. No, that's not what you said. I think it was Xochi's. I think you said how there's always a light at the end of the path. It was something along those lines. Like, no matter what, like
I think that was Kacey.
That was Kacey.
That was me.
I went from Michael to Xochi to now. I was like,
and she's right next to you.
Like plagiarism.
But I like what you said. Cause no, literally, like the pandemic, like I dealt with personally something that like I was at first like, oh, this is like cool. It was like a slight punch, but then I realized it was like a heavier punch that like really like was in my chest that was not going away. So it was like a slow like, okay, like it hurt more and more as time went on.
The pandemic generally, or something specific besides that?
Wait, what happened? What'd you say?
The pandemics like generally, or something specific like besides that?
It was something specific, but like during the pandemic. And so it was like that plus the pandemic happening on top of that. It was like, okay, like I thought I could just brush this over, but it's just hurting more and more. And then it gets to that point where you're just thinking like, dang, it's just gonna be like this for forever. Like I'm just gonna be hurt for like a long time. But now we're in 2021, and I'm like, I remember how I was back then, and I'm like in such a different place now. Like I'm so much happier.
That's so great.
It's crazy. Like time, like you said, like time heals for sure. Like after a while, you just kind of not wash it over, but you just kind of reflect.
You figure it out.
Yeah, you just grow up from it. So yeah, you always remember it, but you move on. So that's beautiful. I love that about life.
Life will definitely, put you in situations where you're uncomfortable, but that's where you do the most growing.
For sure.
So
I think a lot of
it's good to be uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, by the way. I thought I was like Michael or Xochi, and then I was like, it was.
That was funny.
I did hear you though.
Like, I heard
it's just this is where we're practicing our social skills. We're keeping track of what people say.
Like, I don't know who said what. Who are you guys?
That's another thing that like I feel like a lot of people are getting used to. Like if anybody's within 6 inches of me, 6 inches.
6 inches.
6 feet. I'm like, that's pretty close.
I'm like, because literally, they put all the signs, the little pads like on the floor. So I'll be sitting in my little bubble, and I'm like, if anybody's like close to me, I'm like,
you're like, yeah. We should keep the marks, and we should keep the dots at the grocery store. I like that.
The
like,
distancing, I really do appreciate the distancing. Like we shouldn't You shouldn't be breathing down my neck anyway when I'm getting groceries. Back the fuck up.
It's like tailgating. Like, don't be tailgating me. You know?
Literally. You're my personal space.
Yeah.
And I need 6 feet of personal space.
Personal space.
So,
oh yeah.
The times. Crazy times.
Literally,
Good
our
days.
kids are gonna be asking us about this. If I ever have kids, they're gonna be like, "What was it like?"
They're
Bitch,
not
it was
gonna
a
ask
shit
about
show.
it. They're not gonna ask.
They're
about
not gonna
it.
give
We're
a
gonna
fuck.
bore
There's
them to
gonna be
death
some
with these
crazy
stories.
shit happening. Right?
Yeah, during their time. It's like
They're never gonna fucking hear about the end of it. Like in 2020.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Here
I'm
we
just thinking
are.
about that right now. I just want to get through like what I'm going through. Shoot.
That part.
100%.
Yeah, day to time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Is there anything that anybody's like looking forward to, like for this year? Are there any goals or anything like that?
I'm trying to get my license, get a car. That'll be
nice.
a big thing. Yeah, I'm trying to get that done this summer.
Good luck, man. You got it.
Yeah.
We got that shit.
Mhm. Carlos,
Hell
yeah, her
yeah.
boyfriend just got his license.
Yeah, this morning he went to go take the test. I went with him, and he passed.
Dope.
nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Damn. I failed my first one.
We both did. So tell me.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like a big step, like to get your license. It's a thing, Like,
Yeah.
so
Freedom.
What about you guys? What are your goals? What are your hashtag goals?
Will probably be to find a new goal.
That part.
legit.
Better. I love it.
Because I kind of completed it, like starting to drive, got a new job. Now I'm being more independent. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I have that on grasp. What else can I do?
Hell yeah. I love it.
What's next?
What's next? New
For
chapter.
real.
That's
Personally,
good. That's a good.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's a good
Good.
place to be in. Like good space, good time. Mhm.
Yeah.
That
Anyway,
means
go on.
something. I'm kind of in the same boat, like kind of trying to do new things, just kind of like put myself out there more in general. Or like if somebody asks me like, oh hey, do you want to do this, to be more of like a yes person than like a no person. Because I feel like
Yes.
the pandemic kind of made us feel like, oh, we have to just be by ourselves, and it makes you like uncomfortable to put yourself out there. So I'm kind of like, oh, just like say yes more to people. Like if you can, like if you literally can, like why not just say yes? And so like that, because I said yes so many times, like in the past 3 weeks, I think I've taken a yoga class with a friend. I've went on like a 3-mile run. I plan to go hiking. I went like sightseeing. Like I've been doing,
Nice.
I've just been saying yes to like people like that offered to ask me to go places. I'm like,
Doing a podcast.
oh yeah, podcast.
Do a
I'm like,
podcast.
I've done a podcast, like stuff like I don't do, So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of doing it, and it's been inspiring me to like, because I ran that I think last week. I've been trying to like run more often. Like I ran this morning like about 2-3 miles, and so
Wow.
it's a good thing. It's a good change to just like put yourself out there in general.
I just feel like experience life.
I'm just-
What?
Do you know how fucking much I struggled just to bring the groceries in today? Like, a 2-3 mile run is like, whoa. I could never.
It's a journey, like, because I walked most of it, and then I ran a lot of it. I walked the first half, and then I ran the second half. So I was like,
That's still a mile and a half of running. That's a lot.
A
yeah.
lot more than I've ever done in my whole life.
I have
Well, you know,
stairs
it's
in
like
my apartment
steps.
building. So every
Mhm.
time I go up and down the stairs, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
See, that's why I got the first floor.
I kind of like
Yeah.
that though. Like I make a game out of that at the like train station. Like when there'll be like an escalator and then there's like 4 flights of stairs. I'm like, no, I'm gonna run these. But that's like the only time I ever do that.
I
That's
do
the
that
time.
too now, the Hollywood one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm like, y'all can take the escalator. I'm gonna just, I don't know. Yeah, funny.
I'm like, for what? It's right here.
Yeah.
You can still climb the escalator. You don't have to stand there.
I could, but I choose.
You just
what
get
I
up there
want.
faster. I think that's what it's meant for. I'm still supposed to climb. Not supposed
Yeah,
to
it is funny. Some people stand
I
and
know,
some
like
people
at
walk
the,
on the
at
escalator.
the,
I'm a stander.
at the airport, you
I
know.
feel the standard.
It depends on where I need to be.
That's
True.
it's
Right.
a situation for sure. Like for sure.
Or sometimes I'll be standing. I like to stand going like down, and then someone will be walking behind me. I'm like, I guess I'm walking down. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be like, you can go around me.
You could go around. For a reason.
For real. I don't know. Damn. Now I'm trying to think, what are my goals?
what are your hashtags?
I guess like starting school, right? That would be a big goal. I've been having that one on the table for a while. Like, come on, sis.
Mhm.
So I got to do that. And then, you know what? Take a ballet class. Why not?
Yeah, I feel you.
Get back into
gonna
dancing.
pick one, I think this week, hopefully, but I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
I'm actually gonna take a tap class later on today.
Hey,
Nice.
that's
Hell
awesome. That's so cool.
So I'm
I
excited.
I miss tapping for real. That was fun.
I tried doing it with a teacher from Valley. Like we would do Zoom calls, and I would try putting the tap board here, and it's like, it's so loud, and I don't want to make noise because I live upstairs, and it feels so uncomfortable, and I'm just like, I can't do it. So now that I found a teacher that's like, oh, like come to like my backyard, we could like have an actual tap class. So
Yeah,
I'll be there.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
that is super cool. I'm gonna
Love
do a
that.
tap class. Well, and what about you, Michael? Did we ask
What?
about your goals?
What
Yeah,
is your
yeah.
goal?
getting a driver's license and stuff. I already said.
Oh, right. True.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get my shit together, like basic.
Said
stuff.
I said what I said.
I said. Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I was like, wow, a lot of the things that are on my like to-do list have been there for like 10 years. Like, what was the things that I wanted to accomplish when I was like 15? Like, oh, get a license, we'll finish school. Fuck. But
Not even a lie. Like for me, I like everybody in high school wanted to get their license, but I was like the one person that was like, I don't want my license because driving scares me. Like
honestly, I'm so glad I didn't, because
here of driving.
I'm glad I waited.
And I waited, and now I have it. I'm like so cool with it. Like I love
Yeah.
it.
I didn't have a necessity before. It's just I was being driven to all the time. So even though my parents were like, "You need to get your license," and I'm like, "Yeah, I will eventually." Don't pressure me. Like I
feel
will.
the same about school. Like I feel like if I had gone and started taking college classes at 18, I would have just totally wasted my time. And I'm glad that I like had a little more space to and kind of like slow down a little bit and actually get something out of it.
That's something I'll probably do for my kids. Just be like, you don't have to go right away.
Yeah.
Right.
People are so wild about that. They're like, if you take a year off, then you'll get addicted to a year off, and then you'll never do anything. And it's like, yo, people aren't like that. Like people get bored. Like they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
Like,
Really, my dad said the exact same thing you just
My
said.
parents said the same thing. It's like,
I got figured. I was like, oh my god.
and here I am, barely figuring shit out.
no, but you're doing stuff. Are you kidding me?
But I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a competition, you know, like I feel like we always put that in our head that we gotta do this. I gotta get ahead, this and that. But really it's like take your time, figure it out. Easy breezy. Don't stress yourself out.
Yeah,
Right.
you're adding experience points to a character that doesn't exist.
That part.
Yeah, there's no rule book or guideline to adulthood. There's no like deadlines. Like a lot of times I hear like a lot of adults like they're just taking it day by day. You know, like they don't know what they're doing just as much as we don't know what we're doing.
Mhm.
Just kind of like eyeing it and just doing whatever like we think is the best for us. So yeah, you know.
Yeah.
100%.
Whatever works for you.
We're just winging shit.
Literally just being shit.
It's all improv.
Hey.
Hi, back into dance segue.
Yeah, totally. It's all related.
All about improv, freestyling. Okay, guys. That's the way of life. I was gonna ask, do you have any more questions?
No, I was gonna say it's been really, really fun mouth improving with you guys. That sounds weird.
Freestyling.
It's been really
Freestyle
good.
on the track.
Going on the
Freestyle.
fly.
Yeah. Just spitting only fire. Yeah, it's been great having you on. I would love to do this again. This was really fantastic. I have like a million more things I want to ask you, but I think it'd be good to like
Part 2.
Part 2.
You know. Mm-hmm. And congratulations, because like this is actually really dope, Michael. Like what you're doing is like you're starting conversations. You have your own conversation. Like it's a podcast, you know, like you're doing it. And so like a lot of times people would be like, "Oh, I wish I could do X, Y, or Z," or like I wish I could just do that. And it's like sometimes you just
gotta do stuff.
You need to like do stuff. You think you need to have like, whoa, my words, whoa, oh my god. You think you need to have, like,
social.
Yeah, oh yeah, literally. It's like you think you need to have like certain things or guidelines to meet to do that thing, but it's like no, just like
no, you can just do
literally just get up, get what you need and do it, you know? So,
yeah.
And learn as you go.
100%.
I don't know what happened. I turned into an alien for a second.
It's okay, he'll edit it out.
We're dancers, we're not talkers.
Exactly.
Please.
Yeah, it'll sound real smooth in the Well, thank you guys so much for doing this, and let's definitely do it again soon.
Yeah, for sure.